Rachel, you want to kick it off?
Sure.
Are we recording? Are we recording? Me. Yeah, we're recording. Sorry about all my noises. I'm just a disgusting person.
I don't think that's the case.
I vehemently disagree.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this is the first time I've been able to introduce the podcast, and I'm very excited. So here we go. Welcome to Ghosts, I guess, where two Canadian ladies get together to talk about weird supernatural shit that doesn't seem to have a place in normal conversation. We talk about our experiences, invite other guests to share theirs. First guest today. And at the end of every episode, we will discuss how much our conversation and stories convinced us, or didn't, to believe in the paranormal. So, do we believe in ghosts? It's hard to say, but please join us as we talk about it anyway.
Beautiful.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Anyway, ladies and gentle dudes, today we have a very special episode of Ghosts, I guess. So joining us today is our very first guest and my good friend, Danielle, aka
Yeah.
Danielle is a local business lady and entrepreneur, local to me, at least, not to Rachel, with a distinct understanding and appreciation for otherworldly things. I can always feel comfortable sharing my ghostly encounters with Danielle, and for some reason, she always seems to believe me without question. So that is why today we're happy to have you on the show, Danielle, and to dig into your spooky dooky stories.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I think a part of my brain knew I was the first, but I get really squishy and emotional sometimes, so I'll just blaze past that.
I also wanted to just note, not to rattle any cages, but Danielle would also be a local entrepreneur to me as well. Not maybe like she's not near me locally, but if she's a local entrepreneur, she's a local entrepreneur. That's what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I can't with you tonight. We can't keep doing this, Kim.
I'm just so slow. Could you just explain that again?
I'm not much faster.
I also just made some sweeping generalizations on pronouns as well. So I'm sorry. She, her?
Oh, she, her.
Okay. She, her as well. All right. So this is
All
exciting.
Right. So Danielle, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh my God, we don't have time for all of it. I can't keep my ass still. I am a friend of Kimberlina's. Kimmy, carrots.
That's me.
Hum-nums. And now friend of Raquel Nibbles. I also identify as a wife and mother. I have a couple businesses. I'm a sometimes streamer. I'm currently in school to be a paralegal one day when I grow up.
That's badass.
And I'm a practicing witch. And I have, even before I learned about my kind of ancestral callings, if you will, I had experiences that had only one explanation. And once they happened, then it was almost like the doors were opened to family history with the supernatural, so to speak. Going back, especially on my dad's side of the family, there's quite a few fun, spooky dooky stories.
Ooh, I can't wait.
As legend would have it.
Legend would have it. Amazing.
Do
we want to see where Danielle falls on I guess our scale, even though we keep changing, whether it's 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, or it's arbitrary. We assign numbers all the time, but where you would fall in terms of your belief in ghosts and the supernatural, I guess. Was it 1 to 5, Kim?
Yeah. So essentially, like on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not at all, 5 being Oh, hell yeah. Do you believe in ghosts? And if
Yeah.
so, what is your definition of ghosts? Like, what is your definition of ghost?
Okay, so I mean, this is an easy answer for me. Yes, I believe in ghosts, and I think that ghosts is more of a sweeping generalization or umbrella term of interactions with energies of people that are no longer 3D. They have
Okay, cool.
unsubscribed from this earthly plane, so to speak.
They pieced out.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the mental state of the situation, I think you can get malevolent, angry, unsettled type energies. But the more I think whole the mind is at the time, you can get more from it.
Can I ask? So,
Yes.
do you believe that a ghost, let's just say you see something or you feel something or you know that there's a spirit close to you or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're telling me
Mm-hmm.
that this ghost is energy of someone that has passed.
Mm-hmm.
They're no longer 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think they're in that time and space and can interact with you and almost provide like unique conversation with
Absolutely.
you or communication? Or you don't think they're just because we've had some
Imprints or
conversations.
memories?
Yeah, we've had some conversations about like if personally sometimes I feel like it's just an imprint where it's like this person has already passed and I'm just capturing a glimpse of something that has happened in maybe another plane or another 50 years
Like
ago.
imprint.
Yeah.
But I don't think how those things are mutually, I think they're two completely different experiences.
Okay.
I wouldn't put them as synonymous. I would say that you're experiencing an imprint or a memory of energy of something that was significant enough at that time that it left an imprint is different from an actual ghost or spirit.
Interesting.
That would be
So
my argument.
You think that spirit is trapped and can, or not even trapped, but like you just think that that spirit can tell you things, communicate things to you if that channel is opened.
Yes, absolutely. And I've had it. I've experienced it.
Interesting.
It's pretty profound.
That's so cool.
Do you think that the spirit is stuck, or is that too like as a human, do we not understand that, you know, the spirit can be here and there and everywhere and be a part of everything? So it's never really stuck. Like it could be in some sort of afterlife, but at the same time haunting a place. Or do you think, how do we?
I think yes and yes. So again, I think there is a lot to be said for the psychological state of the energy. So if that spirit itself is stuck for whatever reason before it can, sometimes they don't get the opportunity to interact with a medium that can help them resolve things and cross over. You know what I mean? Like they can't cover the whole planet. I think it's absolutely possible for someone to be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So in this train of thought, when someone crosses over, you can no longer tap into them.
I don't think that's necessarily true either.
Okay.
So from what my understanding is from what I've come to understand through talking with other people and their experiences and other mediums, it's kind of like a crossover, and then you kind of are here in a limbo, so to speak, before you do your life review. And your life review is you're literally going over every single minute of your life and resolving whatnot that needs to be resolved. It can take as long or as little time. Like time doesn't matter in that process. But the idea is once you pass through life review, You're part of the general energy well. Necessarily, soul contracts can be made there, etc. If you need to watch over relatives or whatnot, you may choose to stay less connected to the well, the collective, the one. As we get forgotten, like what happens to people who no longer have living relatives that remember them, are constantly engaging with them, et cetera, et cetera. If there's no one left to connect to visit, you're free to continue on.
Neat.
But it's entirely up to the individual soul, right?
So you still have some autonomy.
Absolutely. I believe so.
Yeah, I like this kind of idea that it's almost like you get up there wherever. I don't know. I don't really really have a feeling of where up there is, but like
right. Like up there is a nice, safe, Abrahamic notion that we're all comfy with identifying.
But I like that there's this sort of idea of like you're sort of, it's almost like you're at the salad bar or at not the salad bar, but where do you go when you like can get whatever you want? It's like buffet. You're at the buffet and you're just like, is it okay if can I choose this? And that there's like some sort of, maybe I wouldn't say God, but like just that there's like, do whatever you want. There's no rules here. Rules are like what it was like when you were in a human body down on earth. Like you just do whatever you want.
But there's a higher consciousness about it. Like there's no more really like desires or wants or needs or things like that. It's kind of just like melted in to decide what's happening next. Come back, don't come back. Come back right away. Hang out for a bit.
Just chill in this closet with me. Probably.
Chill in the giant, pretty swirl. That's how I envision it.
That could be cool. I love it.
It's like all geometry. I think you're just like chilling.
So exciting. I've never thought of it that way. Especially not the well.
It's like, I don't know. I've heard it explained different ways. That was the best way that I could think of to describe it in this moment.
So do you believe in reincarnation then?
100%.
At what point do they, in your kind of understanding, would that fit in there?
When there's no more lessons to learn or teach. When there's no more soul contracts to make.
So can you like, I mean, I have a sort of a general idea of what you're getting at when you say soul contract, but what does that mean? You're using that
soul contract?
Yeah.
Think of it as, say, for instance, and this is a very, very extreme, and I'm going to say trigger warning before I continue on this. I hope that's okay. Trigger warning, possible abuse coming up next. But there's some kind of lesson that needs to be learned between two souls, or a lesson that needs to be learned and one that needs to be someone that is in the position to teach. So we have these life experiences and these interactions with different people, and all of these interactions are agreements that we're fulfilling. And some of them are a lot more significant than others. Like when you're meeting someone that you click with so easily, so seamlessly, so wonderfully, seemingly fast, I believe there's a reason for that. Whether it is there's a recognition there, there's a soul recognition there. And if this is a mass phenomenon that so many people experience so often in our lives, like, how is that something that gets discounted?
Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I think Kim and I are going to have like a shorter little debrief or restarted watching Surviving Death on Netflix. I'm watching it for the first time, but I kind of had a similar takeaway in that, like, there were moments I was watching it and I was kind of like, but then I kind of just have to step back and be like, this has happened to so many people all over the world. And there's been similar
for millennia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
millennia, like as long as there's recorded history.
Yeah.
People have been
Like-
having these experiences with death in the afterlife.
Mhm. It's
Which
kind
is
of like,
wild.
it's just pretty ignorant to be someone who would just be like,
Egotistical, I like to think.
yeah.
So Danielle,
My love. My love.
do you consider yourself to have psychic abilities, or do you even think that's a thing? Like, can you tap into, like, you know, all those experiments that they used to do where they were like trying to tap into the brains of soldiers?
Oh, now we're talking about men staring at goats and the
Yeah.
the American military projects. Well, a lot of that was proven and a lot of it was debunked. And I don't have enough knowledge on it to speak on that. I can, however, speak on my own experiences. And I feel like I can comfortably and confidently enough to say, I'm confident and comfortable enough to say that I'm intuitive.
Yeah.
There are things that I just know.
Yeah.
And connections that I just make.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, Kim and I have had some experiences even together. I also am aware of certain family traits that I have and like abilities and intuitions that aren't just unique to me, but other people in my family experience also. And that gets a little bit harder to ignore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When it's
You know
like
what I mean?
passed on. Yeah.
Yeah. My
That's so
dad
cool.
doesn't need caller ID, generally speaking,
He
and
just
neither do
knows.
I.
Mhm.
I generally know before somebody is going to call me who it is. But for me, it's as long as I have a connection with that person. If I have a strong enough connection with that person, I know when they're going to message me. I know when they're going to call me.
Yeah. I've definitely had that myself as well.
That's
Actually
so
had-
wild.
I had it's such a small arbitrary example, but I had my AirPods and I had put them in my coat and I was running around doing a bunch of Christmas shopping, and I got home and they just weren't in my pocket, and I was like, fuck, because like getting frustrated with myself, I should slow down, losing my expensive things, whatever. So I decided, for Christmas then I'll just ask for a little bit of money so I can buy new wireless headphones. So did that, buy them, whatever. Well, maybe like a month later, I go to sleep and I have this dream. In the dream, it was like almost higher self, I would say would be the best way I could describe it. And they're
Yes.
like, what about the secret pocket? And I was like, not nature's pocket. That's something entirely different. What
Not your
about
prison pocket?
Yeah. And I was like, that's weird. So I woke up and I told Carly. And what we realized is there was actually a tiny little rip in one of my pockets.
Oh my
and it
Jesus.
had fallen down into like the liner of the coat.
Oh my
and
Jesus.
they were there. And I found them.
That's insane.
Yeah. So little things like that happen to me sometimes where I'm just like, huh. Or I'll
Like,
be
our
where is
brain
that?
works on shit. Like we
Yeah. It
problem
does.
solve stuff while we're sleeping.
It really does.
And we will absolutely give ourselves advice in the
If we just
form
listen.
of a higher consciousness.
Yeah.
That's I had that. We haven't really got much into it. And I want to get into more detail on another, like where we can talk about in more detail. But like when I did ayahuasca, I've done it like a few times, and there is like it is the wackiest experience in that exact way where you lose sense of yourself as an individual, of your body. And it's literally as if some sort of higher form of yourself is communicating like real-time knowledge to you. And then you leave, and you always, especially if you go into it with intention.
Yeah.
It sounds really hippy dippy, but it's
No, but intention is powerful and important.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just always feel that it's a very, very strange experience where I feel like it's not like another presence that I'm connecting with. It's like, I don't know, whatever is ruling me above me is something that I sort of like tap into with enough, I guess, psychedelics. But
I know what you
no,
mean.
seriously, it's impactful for sure.
I know what you mean by having that experience where you feel like you feel an influence or a connection or a presence of something that is greater than you.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, I remember when it happened. Do you mind if I tell this story?
Yeah. We want you to tell us lots of stories.
So I can tell you the story about the first time that I interacted with what I identify with as the divine feminine. And I was in my basement, baby witch, first kind of bumbling my way through a simple intention ritual, manifestation and whatnot. And I remember just kind of really losing myself in just relaxing everything, staring at the incense smoke. And out of nowhere, I got this intense rush of emotion, but like it's a feeling that I don't really get with anything else. Like it almost pulls on every single positive emotion you have. So like everything from the pure joy to the blissful to the sexual, like everything positive.
Mm-hmm.
It just pulls on all of it. And I saw lights, and I remember them being swirling and pinky, peach and yellow and white and purples. And I remember not being able to see what shape it was because it was constantly shifting and changing.
Okay.
But it just felt like protection and all things good and powerful and wonderful. And I cried a little bit, and I was not high at
I was
the
just going to
time.
ask. I was like, how high?
I was not high.
Okay.
I was completely sober at the time. Dan was at his computer, like in my line of sight, wondering if I was going to be okay. And it was just wonderful. And then I just was able to tap into that feeling and that presence so much easier after that.
Yeah.
Almost like a homing pigeon. So it's like, okay, I need a boost today. Mama, I'm going to need some help. And she shows up, and
yeah, that's interesting. I was going to ask you if you felt that you were able to get to that place or to feel that presence since then. And I feel like once that kind of got opened up, even though like you have to understand something about myself, I'm just a totally anal person who is just all like tensed up on emotion all the time. It takes a lot to like fully relax. So doing something like ayahuasca, where it like literally it's like extreme like separation from my physical self, it really allowed me to tap into that sort of, as I mentioned, that sort of higher being, which feels very much like me. But then I did.
It's recognizable.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
It knows you and you know it.
Yeah, and I think since then it is something that sometimes I don't even necessarily have to ask for it. It will just pop in, like the whole like, what about the secret pocket? You know, and prior to that, I didn't have that connection to it. And I think, yeah, I don't know, it's pretty interesting for sure.
I love it. Okay, so I just can't wait for what Danielle has for us, because this is going to be good shit. I'm excited. And the fun thing is, like, as much as Rachel and I are into this and Danielle and I are into this, like, I don't know these stories before we start podcasting. So this is going to be enlightening and fun for me. I'm so excited. But before we get into the real spooky dookie, Danielle, we're going to do a psychic test.
Okay.
Rachel and I do this every time before we get into our stories.
Okay.
So typically one of us will pull an image from Google.
Okay.
while the other one tries to tap into what that image is, like drawing it on the actual whiteboard in Zoom and like describing it as we go. And I would say it's a real hoot.
Uh-huh.
And
It is
we
a real
are,
hoot.
it's a hoot and we're terrible at it.
Kim's better than I am.
This is what she
Definitely.
keeps saying, but I just keep getting worse. But
Does
also,
that mean that Rachel's also getting worse? Like, are you
that's
just
what-
both
yes.
progressing?
No, I'm
We're just-
consistently bad. Like,
So, like, is it eventually just gonna?
it's just,
yeah.
she's drawing a puppy and I'm drawing
I
a
won't
leaf.
go up. I will stay consistent and and then Kim.
And then I just go, it's tanking. Whatever's happening, it's tanking. But we have been touching on elements of the image, whether it's like a general shape or color or theme. I'm always surprised by how the colors come out. Like we are looking at and drawing two totally different things, but there are elements of similarity coming there. So keep that in mind. Like when you're,
Yeah. Like for
doing this.
instance, I had pulled up an octopus in one of them that was like in the water. And then Kim was like, she kept seeing like, she was drawing like a sandbox, but she's like, I don't know, like, oh, there's just lots of sand. She's like, and then she drew a shark. So it was like, it was kind of connected, but at the same time.
I was trying to draw shit to make the sand make sense. So I was just like, so I just drew sandbox. And then I was like, I guess I need a park because that's where you find a sand. So then I started going off and then I like reeled myself back in and drew a shark. And like, you get these fun little elements coming out. So whatever
But I've
you
known
were,
for a long time that you are intuitive.
well, girl, we're putting it to the test today.
I love it. I'm not at all shocked at this.
Okay, good.
Do you want to, Danielle, do you want to draw or choose the image?
Can
I
I
need
need
to
to I'm
see-
the guest? Can I test you guys?
What? No, I need to see you draw it. We can do both ways. Why don't we do both ways,
both.
girl? We got
Why
all the
not?
time in the world, but I do need to see you draw.
Well, let me go first so I can see how it's done.
So let me explain what we're going to do here.
Okay.
So I was thinking we could improve our odds by having one person transmitting and two people drawing their own separate images at the same time. So I can draw. If Rachel, you want to pull something up.
Sure.
Danielle, you're going to draw at the same time.
Okay.
And then so as to not like influence each other, we're not
Uh-huh.
going to do it on the whiteboard. We'll do it on like a little piece of paper. I have paper and a pen here in front of me. And then we're going to hold it up to the camera and describe it after.
That was literally the one thing you told me that I needed. I got it.
It's okay.
I got it.
I have to pull up a picture.
I
yeah.
got it. I'm
So Rachel,
see,
Yeah.
any guest after me will be phenomenal.
I want you to write down colors, shapes. If it's a full image, it's a full image. If you're just getting random shit, put it down. Because
It's free, right?
it's very surprising. It's always the side stuff that's the most impressive to me. Like the stuff that I think is like a throwaway.
I also have two screens and I'm always like looking off to the other screen, not directly. So I'm going to see if that, since I can like transmit direct to you,
Yeah.
it's kind of like distracted if I am not
For
staring
sure.
at you guys. So
And listen, one thing I found in the past is I'm getting distracted thinking about like, oh, it's a podcast. We need to be talking. I'm going to edit all of the silent gaps out so we can focus on our psychic test and we'll just start talking about it after we've drawn it. And we don't need to worry about that. Is Rachel ready?
I've been transmitting. I'm looking at the image. I'm shooting it out. I'm hoping it'll be picked up.
Okay. Are you ready, Danielle?
Hold on, I'm going to take a second to send it.
Okay. And I'm just gonna take a second to ask John to come get the cat.
When you start drawing, Kim, don't draw a cat.
Like the cat's just like he's fucking up my life right now.
He's a perfect boy, even though he hates me.
I didn't have much of a cohesive image here.
Me neither. I got a lot of colors.
Okay.
All right. You guys
Rachel,
ready?
as I'll ever be. Okay. Let's show our pictures. Mine is a scattering of things, and then we'll talk about it.
Sure. Okay.
I can't see yours,
Brown.
Danielle, closer.
Brown texture.
This is a lollipop.
Okay, so the top of what I saw
Mhm.
was a navel orange, like the pits on a
Okay.
navel orange.
The
Like
pits?
just the pit, like the
pith.
little-
the pith?
The
Yeah,
texture
okay.
of it.
the
Yeah.
texture.
Okay.
Lots of texture. I saw the number 47.
Yeah, that's interesting.
At another flash, I saw a little bow, not a little bow.
Like
and
that you
then
would put on Franny? Like that kind
yeah,
of little
maybe. Yeah, but
Okay.
it was bigger. And then the letter B, and then I saw lots of brown texture, like soil, but the color brown and texture, just like the navel orange had texture, but like lots of brown soil texture.
bow? Okay.
And then I
Interesting.
saw like a sock, like a men's sock, but like a soccer or football was coming forward.
Okay.
So, Danielle, what did you see? Are we totally off?
I'm not saying anything. I will not say anything until I hear what
yeah.
Danielle said.
I got mostly colors. So I got like dark blue, black, white, shadows, purple. I got the sense of outside.
Mm.
And then
Okay.
it kind of shifted a little bit. And I don't know if it's because I was hungry, but it kind of shifted more to like a Candyland type situation. And then I got
Cool.
a lollipop.
Okay.
Isn't it? It's so weird.
Which was
because
interesting because like lollipops and bows.
Yes, mine
There you
was
go.
very like earthy, and then it shifted to this like pretty bow, and then like back to the earthy, and I was like, I'm putting
I'm
it down.
so sorry. That was probably me.
That was you
pulling
coming in.
Mhm.
There's a lot of strong energy amongst the three of us, I think. I think that's
Okay.
the wires can get crossed. So first I'll say before I show you the image, Kim, the browns, taking a closer look at the photo, there is some browns.
Okay.
And I don't know if texture is the word that I would use, but when I show it to you, I'll show you what I mean, or I could see where maybe that would be what you're picking up. There are definitely blues, and it is outside. So, but that's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah. So here we go. I'm gonna share my screen.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's hilarious.
It's not even close at all. The blues
But
and
here's the thing.
purples and white, though,
Yep.
Danielle,
Yeah, the colors are very Danielle. You have
spot
really good
on
colors.
and outside.
There is brown here though.
You know what's funny? If you look down by the river bank, does that look like that's got a little bit of a mountain range on it?
A bit, yeah.
Could be possibly.
Because like I saw cliffs.
And they could be jumping.
So for the
let's
listener,
describe. Yes.
yeah.
Leaving them in the dark.
It's skydiving. It's a couple, and they're skydiving together. The man is on the woman's back. They're looking like they're having a very, very good time jumping in the sky. The entire time I was taken by the fact that the man's face looks a lot like my friend Carl. And so I was really thinking about Carl. So I was wondering if that would like
come through.
But yeah. So there were, I think the colors are probably, if we're going to say, if there's anything that was picked up on the colors and the outside, I would say that I would probably score Danielle a little bit higher than you.
Mm-hmm. The colors for me were so spot on. And then the outside, that I would definitely score that a spot. Like, I'm not going to say spot on, but I would definitely score that fairly high. For me and what convinces me, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Compelling. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is out of 10 because we have no consistency in our scoring. I would say 5.5.
It's a pass.
What do you think, Kim? I think Kim is livid right now. I can see.
No,
I can see the anger in her face. Not because you did anything wrong whatsoever, but because I refused to give her a 5 on one of the ones that we did.
I was just like, you don't understand.
You don't understand. Sand. You don't understand. There we go. It's a dad joke.
I would definitely say this is a pass. Yeah. I would say that we're tapping in here. I'm really convinced of like the outside and the colors that you described and like, yeah.
Now for you, Kim, 2?
Yeah.
Maybe you can get to that.
Let's call it a stretch and say her chest looks like a navel orange.
And
His
there's
beard
ground underneath them. There's
His
dirt.
beard is brown texture.
And this is kind of brown texture. So, okay. All right. Fair enough. I'll give you 2.5.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I didn't get any elements here. So I wouldn't score myself. Let me see.
Okay.
Bow, navel orange, brown texture. No, none of it. Like maybe the earth, because I did see brown, like textury earth, and there's clearly, but I didn't see it like that at all. So here we go.
Wow.
Here we go.
Are we gonna get Danielle to choose a photo now, and then we're going to try?
I'd
Sure,
love
Danielle.
to see how strongly I can project out. I find I'm a lot better at that.
Well, that's kind of the argument that Kim and I sometimes have back and forth, not argument, but discussion, where it's like it's either the person that's projecting is doing a bad job or the person receiving it is doing a bad job.
Mhm.
And who, because there was a while there where Kim was doing not too badly. So my projecting
Not too
was
bad.
good. And lately, I don't know, maybe I'm just distracted.
I think I'm also distracted.
Got it. I'm projecting.
I would say that before you had officially said, okay, I've got the image selected, I'm ready to project it.
Mhm.
I was already kind of drawing a little something. So I'm curious as to whether or not that plays into it. But then I feel like I got like a pretty specific image sent to me. So it'd be funny if it's like way, way off. But what about you, Kim?
Well, let's show our pictures.
Okay.
Just to show. And now we can describe.
Let me go first.
Go wild.
Okay. So what came to me was like foresty, like a forest scene. The colors were really dark. There's like a sort of blacky blue.
Oh, that's funny.
So there was lots of trees, and then there was definitely a path. I also got a fairy, but like not like Tinkerbell, like more, I don't know, folklore-y maybe. And that was
fairy,
yeah, like a real fairy. Yeah. I mean,
you know what the real ones look like. You know,
yeah,
the real ones, not a fake cartoon one.
Yeah. And yeah, just like also like a lot of dark greens. And then the feeling I was getting was like really like melancholy and ominous. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I got like animal print, like cat, leopard spot type of thing.
Interesting.
And then the 1980s came to my mind, not really related to the leopard print, but like just the 1980s. At the end, I got a log cabin. And I tried to write cabin, but like I wrote my N all the way over here. So I started laughing at myself. And then this image is just what I saw. So this is black, gray, smoky. And then there was blues, like the most pretty blue up here.
So we had some of the same colors.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Also, I had sort of mentioned that even prior to like it being emitted, that I sort of just started mindlessly sketching, and there's kind of like a fox that came into my mind. And you were talking like, I mean, foxes and leopards are different things, but like sort of like animal imagery.
Yeah. Very cute little faces. Okay.
All right.
Are you guys ready to see, or
So, yes, but I'm curious because I'd like a little bit of like lead up, like how is there even a little bit of like a little bit that we've gotten correct, or is it just like way?
This is going to be a stretch. It's going to be a stretch.
I'm going to give Rachel some validation because you picked up on an image I didn't settle on yet.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
and Kim came close near the end with the colors
Okay.
and some of the shapes.
The shapes were like the strongest part of my image. The other stuff was just me randomly putting shit down, but like, and I never just randomly draw shapes, but like that was just the strongest part.
Okay. Let's see it.
I think you both did very well.
But let's see this image. Oh God, that's so funny.
It's not even remotely.
Like Kim kind of got like the pretty blue.
Yeah.
And like the shape sort of. Look at this shape. This is what I saw.
I don't know. See this like little curvature out here? It wasn't curved enough. So I was just like, no, there's a curve. I need to go back in and put a curve. And what I see in this image is a big curve, but the colors are all wrong. I would say the colors are not good.
I do want to show the picture that I almost settled on though, because I feel like this is important. I want you guys to see.
Wait, can you describe what the picture was? So it was a banana with a shadow of a banana on a pink background. Very plain.
Yeah. It was like a very pale pink. Like I wanted something that was a very simple, basic image. So plain pink background, perfectly yellow, ripe banana. It's lit from like the top left corner. So it has this really nice, deep, purpley blue shadow on it. And
so
then
we nailed it. We nailed it.
We got so close.
Obviously. But I would like you to see what I was looking at just prior. So
there's a little log cabin.
Oh, yeah.
In the tree.
The tree.
It looks like a fairy tree.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
Like this is
what was
chaos.
amusing to me is you're like, I want to show you what I was looking at. And then there was just like a patch of silence. And I'm like, what were you looking at?
Which one?
Because for the listeners, it's just a page full of images.
It's a page full of chaos. Yes.
I was like, this guy? Is that Howie Mandel? Looks like it.
No, it's Woody Harrelson.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
With the umbrella?
Click. That is not Woody Harrelson. I know his mouth.
Okay. Weird flex, but I'll take it.
Like I was like, is it Shrek? Is that what you were? The strangest looking Shrek I've ever seen.
I was looking at the broccoli with the tree house in the broccoli.
Because look at my log cabin.
Look at my
and Rachel's tree.
Yeah.
Right.
Guys, we didn't do well.
It wasn't awful. Like it wasn't a complete bomb.
No. It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. Well, I don't know what the judging standards are.
It was a hoot, and I'm excited to hear what the listeners have drawn for themselves.
I will let you guys grade yourselves because I'm the substitute teacher here and I don't understand the curriculum.
Okay. Well, Danielle, I need you to take a screenshot of your pictures and send them to me.
If you could also take a screenshot of that whole page as well.
Yes, we need the whole page. And then I need you to take a picture of your picture, your drawing. Rachel, you too, because this is very important stuff.
You'll also see that I gave myself a 0.5 out of 10. I scored it.
Rachel, do you think you deserve that 0.5?
Yeah, I do. Broccoli is basically a tree.
Where did you get that? But it's not the picture she shows.
That's what she sent.
I feel like I deserve a 4.
What?
Mm-hmm.
No. 100% no.
Okay, so from an outsider's perspective, I could see how I would get like a 0. But from my own feeling, I feel like I was getting close.
What I enjoyed most about that was that, like, I know anybody else would say, no, you did a poor job and you get a poor score. But my own feeling, the way that I would grade myself.
Yes, which is most important in life.
Yeah, that's we can't go into that sort of like existential conversation. We need to stay focused. Is eye on the prize here.
Okay.
And if I was going to score you, I would give you, similar to the last test, a 2.5, maybe a 3.
I think it's a 4. So Danielle.
All right, let's get to it.
Moms are fighting and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, let's just get into your spooky stories. You said you have a few.
Yep.
I'm gonna need to hear them because I'm hooked.
Well, let's start with my personal experiences.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's start there.
Your snack game is on point. Like I'm looking around myself. I'm like, I have a chocolate bar, but it's not like I want some sort of like salty snack. I didn't plan properly at all. And I'm looking at you. You've got everything in arm's reach.
Do you know what my trick is? When we go grocery shopping, there are office specific snacks.
You like straight up, you blew my brain a little bit. I was like,
I'm an adult. If I want office specific snacks, I should have
Yes.
office specific snacks.
I am in this office. Like I work from home. I'm in here all the time. I'm always running to the kitchen. What the fuck am I doing?
Cheetos?
You don't have a
These are
drawer of
office
snacks?
Cheetos.
Oh, Rachel.
These are my
Cheetos,
office
thinking
bacon dippers. These are my office score bits.
Oh,
I'm also a
bacon
stoner.
dippers.
Like I am my snack game is on point. It always has been.
Like we definitely are a household that like it's most important if the snack drawer is starting to like dwindle. It's like we need to get groceries.
We go feral.
Yeah, it's pretty important to us. But this is like a whole new world for me, and I'm gonna start. The problem is I don't really have drawers.
And you get a bin, girl. Go get one of those little foldable sequin bins from Dollarama, because why shouldn't it be delightful? It's your snack box. It's literally your box of joy and joyness. So get the sparkly one and put it on your floor, and there's your snack box.
Do you think they have like a dark purple or black sparkly one? Because that's more like my.
Yeah. Or you could make it. You could bedazzle. That could be fun.
I mean, do you boo boo, but you get the idea.
Yeah. No, this is.
And you can still get said snacks at the dollar store. Like it could be a one-stop shop.
Oh,
Shit.
Convenient. Efficient.
I try.
Okay. Whenever you're
Spooky
ready.
story.
Just switching gears completely.
Well, the first time I had a supernatural experience would be when we moved back into our house that we had rented previously. So a little backstory. I was born in the GTA. And when we moved closer to where we are now, we were renting from my dad's best friend. And we wanted to buy the house at the time. We couldn't afford it. So we bought a different house. And then our neighbors at the time that we shared a driveway with bought the house from my dad's best friend. So then they now owned both houses with the connecting driveway. We were always really close with them. She was she was like my dad's favorite bank teller. So like he saw her all the time anyways, even long after we moved. And one day, like they had done a bunch of renovations on the house because it needed a lot of work. And one day he had gone into the bank and she had said, "Hey, do you want your house back?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, like we got in a motorcycle accident. Those stairs are a lot for me. So like we're looking at, not with that anymore. So we know how much you guys love the house. Do you want your house back?" And, right. And sold it to them at a price they wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, which is amazing. And before we were able to move in, he had gone into the house next door, the other house, and took his own life. The husband.
Oh, sorry.
Bank teller's husband?
Bank teller's husband.
Okay.
So, and this is someone that I knew even from a little kid because they were our neighbors when I knew him since I was 3. And then they had a dog named Barbie. The dog didn't last long after he was gone. And so there's the background. And he always loved our house. And I remember not long after us moving in, I would say maybe about a year or 2. Okay. Long enough that the fireplace had been cleaned and emptied many times because we had a wood burning fireplace. My parents are still in that house. Yeah.
Well, so like I think annually you're supposed to get someone in to kind of clean it. And
Precisely. Like it's been maintained. Yeah. And my dad, like we were sitting in the living room. It was my mom, my dad, and I can't remember if my brother was there or not. And we're sitting there going, I can smell cigarettes. And like none of us smoke. Like I was a kid. Neither of my parents smoke. And we're watching tendrils of cigarette smoke float through our living room, and we can see it. But there's no like real obvious source of it. It's just there.
Right. And the house is not attached to another house. It's just that you shared a driveway.
We shared a driveway.
Okay.
The house is a freestanding single family home. So like we're trying to find a source to this, and my dad goes and checks the fireplace, and there's a pile of cigarette butts in there. Well, John was a chain smoker, and so my mom was like, all right. John,
like
this is
you could pick up the cigarettes in your hands. You could lift
there was physical manifestation of cigarette butts. I don't have an explanation for that.
I was going to ask. I was like, so what do you think? Okay.
No idea. No clue. But my mom grabbed the broom, like old school, opened the front door. John, this isn't your house anymore. You know, this is our house now. It's time for you to go. Like you need to cross over and get going, get on. And that was that. We never really heard from John again. Fast forward several years, and now I am a teenager. I'm a surly teenager in the basement, in my basement bedroom.
Like honestly, same.
Right.
I was that
right
same child. Yeah.
Surly basement bedroom. Had my lights, my lava lamps. It was really my refuge. Like my room was bangarang. I can't complain.
Bangarang.
But the door was kind of like you had to like it was a tough door to close to my bedroom. Like you had to close that door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for it to just pop open on its own, not something that is expected.
Awesome. Yeah.
Given the force you need to use to close it. Right. Okay. So when I'm laying in bed and that happens, I'm like, Meow. And I don't have a pet yet. So we are pet free. There are no pets in this house.
So were you asleep, or were you just like laying in bed, or it just like popped open?
I was just about to go to sleep. Like I was getting ready to turn my lamp off and call it a night. And the door popped open. And I'm like, okay. And like your rational brain kind of takes over and is like, oh, you must have just not closed it properly. You know, like you try to rationalize, like I closed that fucking door. But like
we talk about that a lot
all the time.
Right. Like you gaslight yourself into like making
absolutely
quote unquote sense.
Yeah.
But then I very clearly saw and felt something jump on my bed at the bottom of my bed.
And it felt, I mean, I know you said you didn't have an animal, but it felt like the size of a human.
Not at first. But once it started moving up my bed, it was very clearly, and like I got animal sense from it.
Okay.
And I got familiar animal sense from it, but I was still petrified.
Well, yeah.
Obviously. And then I got pinned so I could feel paws in my shoulders. So then that was like, wah! And I'm like running upstairs. And then when I get upstairs to my parents' bedroom, like they're awake, which I was not expecting because I was up way past my bedtime. I was not expecting them to be awake, and yet they were. And my dad's like, oh, did Barbie come and visit you too? And I'm like, what? The dog came up here first looking for John. And then I suppose he came down and saw you too. She.
Creepy.
So once again, my mom had to get going.
That's freaky.
Freaky deaky.
Yeah.
I'm glad Carmen's here tonight.
It only visit once.
Pardon?
Did it only visit once?
Yeah, because like I'm not like personally, I was always raised that I'm the primary power in my dwelling. So I decide who is welcome and who isn't, what is welcome and what isn't. And I'm resolute in that power. Correct. If something slips past that isn't supposed to be in my house and I happen upon energies I'm not a fan of, get going. I have no time for it otherwise. And my intentions are very clear. If you're not here for passive observation or positive influence or protection to watch over me or my family or those I love, if you're not here for advice, if you have any ill will or malice in your intentions, you are not welcome in my house. See yourself out most expeditiously, because bad things will happen if you don't.
You're going to get the broom.
The broom, one of my aunts, one of my uncles, whoever it is that's swirling around at that current moment, heaven help them if my gran gets on them. Like, it's, I feel very well guarded, very well protected.
I was saying that on one of the other podcasts where, like, I don't feel ever like I've been startled, but I do not feel anymore, especially in this home and at this present moment,
intimidated by anything
negative. Yeah, I feel like really protected, like casual, friendly, comforting.
Yep.
Like, it's comforting at this point to hear or see something off base.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a sort of self-preservation thing where if I feel like I'm going into a space where I do feel when the energy is icky and I just don't stay in that area, I'm just like, bail out. Like, I'm like, goodbye. I will say though, there's the odd time like things will happen and you're just kind of like, what? And in the odd time that that's happened, I will just be like, hey, don't know if there's someone here right now. We don't really want to like interact with you. You go about your business. We'll go about our business. Like, we're not here to cause shit. Let's just like coexist peacefully. And then usually then whatever sort of like weird feeling or kind of unexplained thing that might have happened that was small, is then there's no more of it, because I've just kind of like been like, I recognize that you're here and I don't want to fuck with you, and please don't fuck with me.
To that point, I have another ghost story.
Okay, tell me more.
That happened whilst I was an adult. This was my first time in New York City, and I was visiting one of my besties who lives there. And this was in between one of our school terms, so we were staying at a hotel, and obviously we can't afford much. So we're in this, like, it used to be a nice-ish hotel at one point in time, but now it was like rooming houses, it was like a rooming house kind of, one step up from a hostel situation.
Okay, you've painted a picture.
Right.
Yeah.
So our room was very small. It had a clawfoot bathtub.
Ooh.
That would have been nice had it looked like it had any care taken of it at any point in the last 100 years.
Okay, pause while you're telling me this. Did it have one of those like circular oval metal bars on the ceiling that like the shower curtain went around? Ew, those gross.
Yes, it did.
That's literally the what we have in my home. Carly loves it.
I'm so sorry. Okay, the only one I've been in, like, describing
this one was moldy, by the way.
Like, shaming it. They gross me out because the only one I've been in was
horrendous.
The ex-boyfriend.
Okay,
you've been in it. Maybe I'll cut this out. But like, brings back traumatic memories of like the shower curtain being very dirty and always like touching me.
I've said to Carly, like, I don't like that it's like suctioned onto me all the time.
That
I need
to what it was like.
Yes.
And I hated every second of it because it was moldy and it was awful. And I'm trying. Your trauma was mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, I'm a little bit more full body than my girlfriend. So I feel like she doesn't suffer to the degree that I do when I'm in there. Cause like I'm trying to move and it's like
You don't even know.
there's no space for my body. And it's just
It feels spooky in those. It's like the walls are closing in on me, and my back's not to anything in particular other than this sheet that's about to touch me, and it's wet.
I've gotten used to it. Carly really likes it for having nice baths.
Of course.
So when we eventually buy a different house, I said, well, the kind of compromise is that there'll be like a normal shower. Like we'll have 2 bathrooms and one of them will be a normal shower. So, but I feel, yeah, they're kind of weird.
Okay, continue, Danielle.
There's an old knob tube TV in this place. I'm not even joking. Like, this is recent enough that the pictures of this trip are on my social media. And
this is like the hotel room that time has forgotten. It sounds like
correct.
Yeah,
correct. Yes. Very rickety floors. Like you cannot walk anywhere without creaking. There is no non-creakable spot on the floor.
Okay.
We're laying in bed that first night, and I woke up because I felt someone standing in the corner.
Oh,
like I felt someone standing in the corner. And not only did I feel someone standing in the corner, I heard someone standing in the corner, because there's nowhere on the floor that you can exist where you won't make a sound. So I can
100% this wasn't an actual human being that had gotten in.
Yeah,
no, because I turned lights on. I woke my friend up and everything. I was like, yo, tell me you can hear this, dude. And it felt distinctly male. And I got male, I got single, I got loner, I got curious, I got, like, I can still feel his presence now. Like I can still remember what it felt like. But I got harmless. I got curious and harmless. Like I didn't get, so I was like, cool. I was just like, yo, if you're gonna be here, I'm gonna need you. Like, I understand that, like, you live here and I'm visiting, but like, if we can share this space, it'd be cool if you'd shut the hell up in the middle of the night.
The vision that I just got was like just like Napoleon Dynamite. It's like in the corner. He's like,
literally, kind of. That's like I got balding, but yeah, similar mannerisms.
Okay.
He also would like to play with our TV, and like it blew Sarah's mind. I just dropped her name. It blew her mind that it listened every time I said something. If I said stop, it stopped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the weird. I've experienced that and tested it to the point that I feel statistically this is not possible unless there's like something interacting with me.
Yep.
Weird.
That was with Buddy and me trying to check the fucking weather one morning, and he wouldn't stay the hell away from the TV and kept making it go static. I'm like, could you just watch it with me from over here? You don't need to stand directly beside the TV.
Did you feel scared?
I'm just
never.
You didn't feel scared. Did your friend feel scared?
Like initially, like I was startled initially, so I was like, "What the fuck's happening?" But once I got my bearings and I could get a as close to what you could call a read, but no, she's not scared when she's with me, because we've known each other long enough that she's seen more. Like, we've known each other since the first grade.
Okay.
She's been around me. She's been around my dad. Like, she's fully aware of all the woo-woo shit that happens in my family.
And probably just that, like, you guys have some level of, I don't want to say control, but like, she probably feels safe that you can handle the situation.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that's something that I really try to instill in my kids too. Like, we have frank conversations about stuff like that. More so with my eldest than my youngest, but she's almost kind of teaching the little one.
Okay.
Like,
good.
You don't need to be afraid of ghosts, because ghosts are afraid of mom. And that is true.
I'm like so fearful. We've talked about this before with Kim, but like, because like there's a this hotel here that was the topic of our last podcast that we had done. And it's super haunted. There's a million stories. We talked about it. And Kim's like, oh my God, like I want to come. There's cheap flights. We're going to go there. We're going to stay overnight. I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't. It's like, it's very, very interesting to me. And I love having conversations about it. And I like being like, oh, that's so creepy. But I don't know that I like willingly want to put myself in creepy positions.
I'm much more confident in my territory than I am in someone else's.
That makes sense.
John and I, for 1 year, it was during COVID, so like Halloween was tough, but we did something where we paid some money for an online haunting in your own home, and they walk you through. Did I tell you about this?
I don't know if you told me all the details, but I think you told me you were going to do it.
Yeah.
And I advised strongly against it.
Yeah. It was like, do these 5 different scenarios and, you're going to tap into something. And we did tap into something, but there was one, like I was pretty confident and I wanted to hear or see or feel something. But there was still one that was so spooky that I was like, I'm not doing that. So like, Rachel, I feel like I totally know what you're talking about when you say you're scared of this stuff. You're interested, but you're scared because like the one was like, turn off the light to complete black and sit in front of a mirror for
the mirrors are portals.
Bloody Mary.
And I was just like, I'm not doing that.
Do
and
that.
John did it. He didn't see or feel anything, but I like could not even bring myself to do it. I was like, I can't. What if I see something? It feels dark. It didn't feel right.
Would you classify John as intuitive?
No.
That's why. That's why.
No. He's not seen anything.
He couldn't feel it. He couldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
And if he's a psychic dud, as you would say, where nothing's going to happen, but if someone like you or me sat in front of a mirror, like, no, you couldn't get me to do it.
Direct quote from Kim from one of our podcasts was, he wants to be able to feel it desperately. He's desperate.
He's desperate, but he doesn't feel a fucking thing, which is probably why he could go into the dark room and sit in front of a mirror. Like,
yeah,
that's why he could go to the catacombs.
That's why he can go to the catacombs.
I could not.
Also I was claustrophobic, so
that was one of my questions I was going to pose to both of you. Do you have like strong feelings or experiences when you visit places with an ancient or traumatic history? So like something that was particularly violent or something at a particular location.
Yes, I was in Dublin and I went to the prison there. Because it was like I should say it's like a historic prison. So it's not currently active with people in there. And they told the story. There's just one area kind of out in the open where they told the story. They brought people and they had executed them against the building. And I don't remember all the details because it's been a few years, but like being in that space, I could definitely feel all of that. Like I was not completely disconnected from it. I was like, you can feel what has happened here. And it's very intense.
I mean, I would say for me, no, it doesn't differentiate between any old random house or some like known historical site where like something weird happened. Stuff just hits me when it hits me.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. Like I said, I typically try to avoid a scary spot because I feel sensitive to it. But there has been there's this it's called like the Grotta. It's somewhere in a small town near Winnipeg. I can't remember where it is, but it's like there's a church and then there's this like recreation of like some sort of grotta from Italy with like pictures of saints and like different statues of saints and stuff. And my mom brought me and Shelly, actually, I was an old best friend of mine, and we both were so creeped out there when we were walking through. The energy was just horrendous. And then we had to we had to go to the bathroom. We had to like go through like the side area into the church, and in the church felt even worse.
Ugh.
And I remember we were both like, this is not a nice place. This doesn't feel nice. And then another instance that was kind of similar to that I had told Kim about when I was searching for my first house. We went and we were looking all over at different houses. We went into this one house and I was like, this place feels kind of weird. But then we went into the basement and I was like, nope. I'm like, let's get out of here right now. Cause I could just, I was just like, there is so much icky feeling, darkness, heaviness in this basement. There's absolutely no way that I would like, we need not only would I not buy this house, we need to leave immediately.
Yeah, we're not even going to finish seeing the rooms.
Yeah.
We're good.
Like,
thanks.
when I saw this house, I felt things, but they didn't feel dark.
Okay. Well, that's good. That would be different, I think. I feel like if I walked in and was like, there's a nice presence here.
There's a nice presence here.
I wouldn't be too concerned. But like when it feels really like, get out of there right away.
Yeah, gross.
Sweet.
Shall we take a quick pee break?
Rock and roll.
That was weird.
What?
Okay.
I went into the washroom and I turned the light on and the lights were flickering and they stopped. And then I was like, oh yeah, we'll see. I'm doing a podcast right now about ghosts. So I started recording and I was like, who's here? But I'm also like actively peeing while recording. And I was like, this isn't good. Even if I get something, I can't show anyone. And I stopped recording and then it flickered again. And I was like, oh, fucker.
You in bathrooms, man. It's just like
bathrooms.
Constant.
Absolutely constant. Or it was just like electrical malfunctioning. But I didn't feel the best walking out of there. You know, when you feel like something on your back?
Yeah.
Or you kind of want to walk out sideways.
Yep.
Or you like walk real fast to where you want to go. Yeah, that's how I felt. Spooky dooky. All right. Let's get to our third story from Danielle.
We realized it's actually the fourth story.
Great. Our fourth.
Well, I was good because I had given 3 ghost stories. I was going to tell a little bit about sometimes how I get visitations after people have passed on in the form of dreams. So,
oh, that's nice. Yes.
Yeah. The first time it happened, I didn't realize it happened. It wasn't until I think I needed to process it a little bit more. And I mentioned it to my mom and she kind of just stopped and looked at me. It was after my grandma had passed away, my mom's mom. And I had some anger towards my older cousin that I was working through for a number of stupid reasons. I was a teenager at the time. And I remember in this dream I was walking, I can still see it vividly. I can see it, smell it, hear it. I'm walking down this street I don't know, up to this house I don't know. And there's a fence and it's a bungalow, just like a regular wartime bungalow situation. And then I go inside, but the kitchen is the kitchen at the house my grandmother had growing up. So she had like 2 other places after that one, but we were in that kitchen before the renovations.
And had you seen it before? Or did you just see photos of it? Or
no, I had seen that kitchen before. So I didn't know the house outside, but I didn't recognize the house that on the outside. I don't know what house that was. I didn't know what house that was, but inside was the house I did know.
Okay.
That I had spent so much time in growing up. And it was the kitchen as it was through the 80s until my grandfather refinished all of the cupboards for her. And I remember the kitchen was bigger than it was in reality, but I think it was just a projection of what my grandmother would have liked. In her perfect kitchen, it was bigger. And in her perfect world, she presented herself as a version of her that I never knew. I never knew the Greta that dyed her hair black long after it needed to be dyed.
Mm.
I didn't know her when she still had her natural teeth, when she had her gap. She had a gap tooth
Hmm.
in her front. And I only knew her with dentures when she finally got that fixed.
Right.
Like, what a cute characteristic.
Mhm.
But, like, she loathed it. Like, if she had the option to get rid of it, she did immediately. So I never knew that version of her, but that's how she presented herself to me. And I remember how her hands feel. And I remember her telling me that I needed to forgive Robin.
Mm.
And I argued with her.
Like, well, you're wrong.
I don't want to. And of course, she wasn't having any of that. And what stopped my mom when I told her about that was the house she grew up in.
That's crazy.
That I never knew. I never saw it.
So she recognized that.
My description. So that was my first one.
Mhm.
Yep.
So my friend Hannah describes some dreams that she has.
Mhm.
She's like, one day she was just like, my favorite dreams are when I like go places.
When she astral projects?
She's like, I go places in my dreams that I fully believe are real places that exist either like on another plane or whatever. Maybe she'll talk about it to me someday on this podcast. But like, I had no idea what she was talking about or no concept of what that would even be like until she brought it up. And every dream since that I have had has been that, me going somewhere that I fully believe is like on another level. That's a real place. I'm like visiting a real couple in their home. And this is their linoleum floor, like fully. And it's been a total shift. And all she had to do was just like talk to me about it. And these dreams are unlike anything I've ever experienced or felt. And they will stick with me for weeks. Like that day of when I wake up, like I the feeling is so overwhelming and wonderful of these places I've been to. I just want to go back. And that's what that dream reminds me of that you just described, of like going or seeing this place.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm very disconnected from my dreams typically. Like I'll remember them sometimes, but I think that's a trauma thing. It's rare. And the ones that I typically remember are not happy ones. They're usually like the scary ones.
Oh, they imprint hard on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I could just go like chill somewhere, suddenly be in Mexico. They're also not very vivid usually, sometimes, but not usually. Like I don't wake up and have like a distinct memory of it.
Oh my God. Every day.
But occasionally I'll get something fun. Like I'm just like hanging out with one of my favorite musicians and we're just like chatting.
It's a visitation. They're coming for you.
Guess.
They just want to hang out with Rachel.
Who wouldn't?
I mean.
Okay, we got another visitation.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
This one is a sad one.
Uh-oh.
It came after a friend of mine decided she didn't want to be here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the night that we all got there before even the first responders were there. So it was a pretty core memory night, pretty traumatic evening. People struggled hard with that one.
Mm-hmm.
People struggled hard. She was that story we hear so frequently. She was such a light and so happy and loving and warm, but she couldn't chase them. She couldn't chase the demons. But I remember people having a hard time letting her go. And I think because of the nature of it, it made it that much worse, that much harder to deal with. So the fierceness in which her loved ones were scrambling to hold on to whatever essence or memory of her that they could.
Mm.
They were tethering her quite uncomfortably here.
Mm.
And it came in a dream where I remember very vividly, we're in a hallway, kind of like a movie theater hallway. I remember the carpet being like red velvet plush old school movie theater hallway. And she's surrounded by people. I can't, none of the people's faces matter, but I see hers clearly.
Mm.
And I remember distinctly her turning to look at me in the eyes. And I wanted so badly to hold her. I remember feeling that, like I just needed to cross a few feet of space
Mm-hmm.
and I would be there, but I couldn't move. And she looked at me and she said, "Let me go." And she looked so sad and so overwhelmed, like, just let me go.
Wow.
That was a tough one.
Mm.
Do you feel like those dreams, or that dream in particular, is, I mean, you call them visitations.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was actually her coming through when you were sleeping? And
Yes.
or was this like higher self, Rachel, find the pill, the secret pocket?
No, I think I feel pretty strongly that they're visitations, because what differs them, the fact that in my entire lifetime, these are the two dreams that I've ever had that I can remember every single detail of.
Yeah.
Where there was a strong connection, where I felt in almost all of my senses. I just didn't taste anything.
Right.
But almost all of my senses were engaged. That's not normal, I think, for most dreams.
Right.
When you woke up, did you have more sadness, closure, relief, frustration? Like, how were you feeling?
Which time?
With your friend.
Well, I was still working through profound sadness. But I felt more vindication than anything, I think, because my focus was relentlessly on what I thought she would have wanted.
Yeah.
Like I used that almost as a flotation device. As long as I'm doing what I think she would have wanted to see me do, then I'm good. And I don't know if that answers the question.
Oh, sure it does.
Rachel,
Have you had visitation dreams?
it.
You have, right?
We were actually just briefly talking about the only, actual dream was like Finn comes to me quite often.
Yes. That's. I remember you saying that now.
It wasn't a dream, and I've talked about it briefly here before. But when my grandpa passed, I was so upset because I was very close with him. This is my dad's dad, and I remember just being in bed and like crying, and like I was just by myself, which is a recurring story in my life, but that's another thing entirely. And I remember feeling this like hand on my head. It was very comforting. And I got a sense that was him like comforting me. So that wasn't a dream, but I was like, I guess maybe I was in bed. So it could have been like sort of
specific
in between
visitation.
sleep and dream. Yeah. What about you, Kim?
I'm trying to think of something other than, what we've already talked about. But I like when I was pregnant with Franny, I had tons of them, like tons.
Pregnancy
where it would be
dreams
like,
are wild.
Yeah. But I mean like tons of visitation dreams. Where like it was just in my bedroom, but I looked up and there were like a semicircle of just family. Semicircle of family.
Like family that had passed?
Yep. Extended family, and just like huge amount of like just souls just there and being like, yeah, we're here.
They're probably gonna
You're good.
be her protectors, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Her semicircle.
Ooh,
Yeah.
My baby.
She's
My
so
baby.
fucking cute. I could just rip her.
She's so
know.
fucking cute. She
Take her
today-
face and eat it.
You could.
massive cute aggression with that baby.
Me too. She started pulling like hissy fits today. Like, I didn't know babies did this, but I pulled a toy away from her. Is this normal for a baby? But I pulled
I'm
a toy
sure.
away from her and she fucking lost her shit.
Welcome.
Meltdown tantrum, kicking, screaming, punching, writhing. And I just like was laughing, crying at how fucking funny it was that this baby had such severe emotions over this toy. I was like, who is this kid? And I was like, I gotta kick that habit.
This is where the opinions have started.
Yeah, she's got him. She's got him.
Yep.
She doesn't like kisses on the cheeks.
What a surprise that with you being her mother, that you would have a strong, opinionated daughter. How
You know what?
shocking.
Shocked.
I would have never seen it coming, to be honest.
Nobody saw this one coming. Yeah, I really need to stop like laughing when she does that though. Like that's not an appropriate parenting response, but also it was like so fucking funny. But she doesn't need to see her mother laughing when she's going through extreme emotions. So I need to like work on that.
It's gonna be so bad for me. I'm just gonna want to, like, if I was in that situation, I just want to give the toy back to the child.
I did.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
Okay.
immediately. I was like, also, I don't care about you not having this
Right.
toy. Like, here's your fucking toy. If you want it that bad, I just want you to hit your face.
Yeah, I guess the
Hit your
stakes are kind of
face.
low
I don't
there.
care. Yeah.
But I
Pick
can
your
imagine
battles,
Carly
man.
being like, it's not, it doesn't do the baby any good to just, if you're putting in a boundary, than to just go against the boundary. And it would be so hard for me to be like, no, I have to stick to this.
John saw it and he was just like, well, that's not the kind of behavior that we need. I was like, she's 9 months old.
Right. You can't.
Oh yeah, this is
spoil
not a
an
judgment
nine-month-old.
call.
Yeah.
And also based on what you described, like who cares if she has her toy? But I'm just
Yeah.
saying that, like, you know, like if she was older and she was doing something she shouldn't have been, and you took it away and you had a similar response, like my nature would be like, oh, here you go. I don't want you to be upset. Here's your toy. And that's not good.
Okay. That's John's nature. My nature would be tough fucking titties. Let's go.
Tough fucking titties.
Big tough
titties,
fucking
said the kitty,
titties.
and the milk ran dry.
Yeah, exactly what Rachel said. We're calling
Yeah.
Aunt Rachel. I'm sending you to Winnipeg for the weekend.
A winter
You know what?
peg.
The only one that would like actually, you know, give her some like stability and, well, I won't say discipline because I don't think it'd be that intense, but would be Carly.
Yeah.
I would be like, whatever you want, let's go get toys. Let's go get ice cream.
That's literally what John would do. And I would be like, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. People
Let's
around me,
go.
I want them to have whatever they want and I want them to be happy.
That's like what my mom did to me. And now look at me. I'm just fucking messed up.
I'm not going to do that. It's going to be like, I'm just going to say it's going to be a
You're
struggle.
going to
to
wanna.
not
You're
do
going to
that.
wanna.
Correct.
Yes.
Mhm.
Understood. Okay. Well, we're 4 minutes over. We should let our kind guest go do her work.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. The life of a student. I have an assignment due at midnight. And I'm like, oh, I need to do that.
Oh,
Do
and-
it.
Well, we won't hold you back from doing that any longer, but I really appreciate you being our first guest. And I don't know, we got really like deep and emotional on this one.
You know what I've pulled out of this one?
Hmm.
I thought you and I had similar experiences and themes. I'm like, yeah, we're the same person. So like, of course.
Yeah.
But then listening to Danielle and her stories, they're so similar to what we've been talking about. Like, how many times did we say throughout this thing, like, oh my God, we were just talking about that? Because
Yeah.
we're all having the same experiences.
Yeah.
And maybe we're just not all talking about it as openly and as in depth as we should be. But like, I'm very interested in, as this continues, how we're going to pick up on these themes. throughout.
Woohoo. Well, it was like my absolute pleasure to be here. The vain
Fun, spooky
creature in me is
stories.
loving all of it. And I would be happy to come back anytime.
We're going to have you back.
I mean, I'm
Love
sure
it.
you're going to have other stories like that. I mean, probably ones that you have in the bank, ones that you're going to experience. You'll be like, holy shit, guys. Wait till I tell you what happened. And they'll be like, okay, come back
Yes.
on.
Right. And you can do tarot for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pull
That'd be
cards
beautiful.
whenever you want. Mhm.
That'd be beautiful. Okay. Well,
You could
we
maybe
will
do
let you
like
go.
a full moon ceremony sometime. That would be fun.
Yeah. We could do that.
So we will let you go.
All right,
Pull card.
guys.
Okay.
Thank you
Bye.
again.
Thanks again.
Bye.
See
Have a
y'all
good night.
later.
Good luck with your
Bye.
assignment.
Thank you. Have fun, guys.
Thanks.